Jon Jones sees WWE crossover as, quote, inevitable. Jon Jones has talked about moving to the UFC's heavyweight division for some time now, and he's also let it be known that he'd love to fight pro wrestling star Brock Lesnar, for real, like in the octagon. But now Bones has said that he's certain a crossover with WWE is going to happen at some juncture. If you follow pro wrestling, then you know there's been several fighters who have crossed over into that world. Lesnar, of course, is one of the most notable, as he went on to win the UFC's heavyweight title. Then there's Ronda Rousey, who, after becoming one of the biggest names in combat sports, joined the WWE. Dave Bautista fought just once in an MMA bout, but he's another massive name to do both. Some of the other people who have competed in MMA and performed in pro wrestling include the likes of Tom Lawler, Bobby Lashley, and most recently, former UFC champ Cain Velasquez. Well, recently, Jones was asked about the possibility of performing under the WWE banner at some point, and he told SI this: "I think it's inevitable," said Jones. "I've always respected WWE, and I feel like the sports can be so similar. I have the size and athleticism and the following to transition over really well," said Jones. "To get the opportunity to just show up, even as a special guest, would be a dream come true." So based off of those comments, it doesn't sound like Jones is necessarily thinking about making a full-time move to pro wrestling, but it's clear he'd be down to make some appearances. Since Jones made those comments, WWE star Roman Reigns was asked by TMZ Sports to weigh in on them, and here's some of what he had to say.
Oh, he's definitely got tools. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt he's a bad man, no doubt. But obviously what we do is a little bit different than the octagon, and it's going to be a different travel schedule and different demands, but I definitely think he's got a great name, he's got a great work ethic, and he had a huge career through and still going in MMA. So I would absolutely say keep your eye on the ball for now, John. Don't worry about WWE, but I definitely think there could be a future for him if he can put in the time and transition and develop the skills that we use.
And how does Reigns see a pro wrestling match with Jones playing out?
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, someone like Jon Jones, I mean, if you're going to step in the WWE ring, you're most likely going to want to be in there with the big dog.
And you think you can take him, obviously?
Oh, man, it would be a hell of a fight, but when it comes to the squared circle, I don't think there's anybody better in the world. So, yeah, I feel very comfortable being in the ring with Jon Jones.
What do you guys think? Do you want to see Jones make an appearance in the WWE, or even start wrestling pretty often down the line? Or would you rather he just focus on his MMA career? Or, for that matter, could you care less if he ever competes under the WWE banner? Donald Cerrone shares address with online troll, challenges him to a fight. Following Cerrone's quick loss to Conor McGregor at UFC 246, some people have been piling on Cowboy. It seems pretty clear he's sick of it. Cerrone battled McGregor last month, and as you certainly know, McGregor needed just 40 seconds to take out Cerrone. As a result, it wasn't long before some observers started firing around the fight was fixed narrative. In fact, prior to UFC 246, some folks started pushing the conspiracy theory Cerrone was going to take a dive. The theory hinged on the idea that the UFC needed McGregor to score a win and advance to massive fights in 2020. Well, not long ago, Cerrone posted a picture of himself wearing a jacket that said "Live Free." Some trolls took the opportunity to pile on Cowboy, and the ensuing exchanges went down. One observer posted, "After that big payday to take a dive, you have to live free." Cerrone proceeded with, "Take a dive, you stupid motherfucker. Who you think you're talking to? Get a life." Another fan said, "Live free and get beat for money." Cerrone responded with, "You think that's funny? You feel like I'm the kind of man that would sell my soul? Do me a favor and unfollow me if that's how you feel." Clearly, some people didn't see those exchanges as a reason to stop trolling Cerrone. More recently, Cowboy reportedly had the following back and forth with another person. "Maybe it's a good idea to start a new career, like driving snow scooters, because clearly fighting is not something for you." Cerrone wrote, "Tell you what, I live at blank, NM 87015. Come on down to the ranch and try your luck with someone that sucks at fighting. I'll leave the gate open for you, but you are a scared little that talks shit on IG, so show up, let's just see what kind of man you are." Not surprisingly, there's been no word of that person showing up at Cerrone's ranch to throw hands with the legendary fighter. Chances are that wouldn't go so well for them. Now, obviously, to say fighting is not something for Cerrone is ridiculous. He has won more UFC fights than anyone in history and has recorded the most finishes in the promotion to date. Not only that, Cerrone has been one of the most active fighters on the roster, and he's also fought a who's who of top-tier lightweights and welterweights. But when you consider Cerrone has 50 MMA fights under his belt, that he's 36, and that he's taken some heavy shots in his recent outings, should the legend think about hanging up the gloves somewhat soon, or should he continue to battle, say, into his 40s? Israel Adesanya asks why everyone is scared of Yoel Romero and explains how he'll counter the wrestler's takedowns. Yoel Romero, as you don't know, is a former world gold medalist and an Olympic silver medalist in freestyle wrestling. At first, it looked like the UFC was going to pass on handing Romero a title shot since he's coming off of losses to Whitaker and Costa, but eventually Adesanya got his wish and he's booked to fight Romero at UFC 248 on March 7th. While talking about his upcoming bout with Yahoo Sports, the middleweight champ had this to say about Romero. "Why is everyone so scared of this human? He is human at the end of the day. He's just another guy who bleeds if you cut him," Adesanya said. "He sweats and he gasses out. I don't gas out." Adesanya isn't the only person to argue that cardio isn't Romero's strongest suit. After all, his last 3 losses all came via decision. That said, Romero KO'd Luke Rockhold in the 3rd round. He took out Chris Weidman in round 3, and he also scored a split decision win over Jacare Souza back in 2015. And what about stopping Romero's vaunted wrestling game? Well, while talking about that specifically, Adesanya said this: "I can control where the fight goes as well because of my footwork," Adesanya added. "Wrestling doesn't always start straight away from the clinch. It starts from the feet, where your feet are placed, and he's flat-footed. And I am not. I have really good footwork, and also, when he gets his hands on you, it's hard to get your hands on me when you can't see me. He keeps saying, 'I see you soon, boy.' No, you won't." There's no doubt that Adesanya's footwork has received heaps of praise and that he can be a very elusive fighter. Further, it's worth noting that he needed less than a round to finish Derek Brunson, who doesn't have the wrestling credentials of Romero, but is a noted wrestler nonetheless. But what do you guys think? Is Romero's wrestling going to be an issue for Adesanya? And if he does take the champ down, do you think he'll be able to get back to his feet or avoid taking serious damage? We haven't seen much of Adesanya's ground game to date in the octagon, right? For our next story, we got Conor McGregor in the news. Following McGregor's quick win over Donald Cerrone at UFC 246 last month, the champ hasn't announced his next opponent. If you remember, McGregor told media that he will be stepping in for Khabib versus Tony Ferguson because he believes that matchup won't happen. Well, recently, Conor McGregor's manager made it known that the former double champ prefers staying at welterweight, which led many UFC fans to believe that his next opponent would either be Kamaru Usman or Jorge Masvidal. But Dana White recently announced Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal is set for International Fight Week. That led many UFC fans to think, who is next for Conor McGregor, since the former champ has said he wants to fight 3 times in 2020. Well, Conor McGregor recently tweeted out, "Conor McGregor versus Diego Sanchez," after Diego Sanchez won at UFC Fight Night 167 over Michael Pereira. What do you guys think? Would you like to see that matchup? How do you guys see that fight playing out? Let us know down in the comment section below.